Mike Moore Media, the first place to hear Rockingham County news and information.
On our media line, Rodney Cates, Director, Rockingham County Emergency Services 911, our monthly podcast. Hey, Rodney, how are you, sir?
Good morning or good afternoon, sir. How are you?
I'm doing just great, thanks. Well, several things I wanted to ask you. I know you had something you do on a continuing basis today, a statewide call, just kind of making sure everybody's communicating with everybody. What is that you have to do on a regular basis?
Each month, North Carolina Emergency Management does a statewide call it's a statewide frequency for emergency management, and the reason they do that is to ensure interoperability throughout the state, specifically through our central branch. The state, through emergency management, is broken up into three different sections: Eastern, Western, and the Central Branch, and Rockingham County is in the Central Branch. So the Central Branch comes together. They do a radio test, and you just answer up for your county. But what it does, it lets all of us know and it verifies that we have radio communications among the counties. A prime example would have been last week when we had the storms. Those storms impacted many counties, actually statewide. So should we have had to go into a situation where we had to talk county to county, if we had to talk to Guilford or to Orange County or to Durham County, this statewide radio channel and the testing of it, again, verifies that we have that capability, and that capability is working at all times.
Mm-hmm. Everything is ready. Okay.
Right.
Let's talk about the storm. That was a doozy last week, and certainly pressed a lot of people into service around the county and so many different agencies. How do you prepare for that, and what kind of, I know we did a news story on that, and you had a news release out that I used really to make that story. But how did that impact the 911 service here in the county?
There was a call inundation that occurred usually right around the 10:15 hours when it really started going really busy in the 911 center. It stayed busy actually for the remainder of the day. The peak call time for us in the 911 center was from about 10:15 till about 12:30. That's when the brunt of the storm and all the winds and stuff were coming through. Many downs, trees and power lines, trees into the power lines. So our 911 center had an extremely high call volume. For the entire day, we had over 700 calls for a 12-hour period, just telephone calls. Typically, we'd have right around 300, so we more than doubled our call volume. And the significance of that is the time frame in which we doubled that call volume was from the 10:15 to about 12:30 time frame. So we had a very good staff in there that did an outstanding job during that time.
Was that your regular staff? Did you have to bring in extra people where they needed? Are you staffed properly for that?
We will up staff for those events. We have an on-call person that's designated each day. Should something like this happen, that's at least one definite designated person that we can call and bring them right in. So we did have that extra person in there. Our administrative staff actually went inside the 911 center. All of our administrative staff are certified telecommunicators, so they go into the 911 center to assist also. So we were actually running 9 telecommunicators inside the center that day during the peak call time, and it was very efficient that we were able to have that many in there. Oh, yeah, because a normal day like today, a regular routine day, how many are in there? How many dispatchers? We have 7 in there. Typically on day shift we'll have 7. But up staffing by only 2 doesn't seem like a lot, but when you have 2 more people answering those lines, those people actually become call takers, and they are designated to just answer those 911 lines when they ring. There are other people that are dispatching those calls for service once they put them into the computer system. So having 2 additional call takers in a time like that is certainly a very valuable asset in the center. Sure. I'm always impressed with the training and the knowledge of your staff, and when we call 911 and just the people on the other end. And I know you're going through some continuing education with that all the time, and something going on right now, I believe. We do. We're currently doing our emergency medical dispatch and service training. All of our protocols are through the International Academy of Emergency Dispatch, and there are instructors for the different protocols throughout our state. So we bring in instructors that give us the most up-to-date training. these protocols change. They're a software application, and the International Academy will put out new versions. The changes may be very small, or some of them sometimes are large changes, but typically it's wording, it's instructions that we give to people, life safety instructions. So we're currently going through our emergency medical dispatch in-service training. We had one session yesterday. We'll have another session this Thursday. I'm going to bring our people up to date with those protocols, and the good part of it is we use these protocols each and every day. So we actually are training with the protocol. The instructor brings in and talks about the actual protocol that our people see each and every day. A lot of these training scenarios from various agencies or various groups that put on training sometimes are not the actual application that we see and use every day. So there's some value in that training, but when we can have training on what we actually use and see and implement each and every day, that training is certainly more valuable for our staff to do it that way.
Sure. Give us a couple of examples, please.
The protocol type?
Yeah, the protocol type, yeah.
Well, just a cardiac arrest. If someone calls and is reporting their loved one or someone that they've observed not breathing, they see them, fall to the ground, our call takers automatically put in the nature code for cardiac arrest. That protocol automatically launches. It's a computer software application. So once we put in the nature code of cardiac arrest, it automatically launches a protocol. And that protocol is a system of questions. They're already pre-formatted. And the answers that these people give, that the caller gives, then prompts a determinant code or a dispatch determinant code. And that tells the responders the significance of this call. Calls are coded with an alphanumeric code, but the alpha code, omega through E as in echo, the higher the letter, the more emergent the call is. So alpha and omega calls are non-emergent. Then you have B or Bravo calls, which are somewhat emergent. It's, you respond without delay. C is in Charlie, D is in Delta, E is in Echo calls are the most emergent. So if our 911 center notifies our responder of a Charlie level call, Delta level call, or an Echo level call, they automatically know in the field that this is certainly an emergent situation and needs their most immediate attention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, that's very interesting. But they have that right at their fingertips to help the people on the other line. They
do, and as a form of redundancy, should the computer, that's technology, and sometimes technology could go down. If that were to ever happen, we actually have manual card sets at each dispatch console that it's the exact same thing that the computer application is. It's just a manual version of it. So if there should ever be a computer problem, our telecommunicators can then get the actual card set and flip to the correct protocol, and the actual questions are also listed in the card set. And these protocols have life safety instructions, childbirth instructions, CPR instructions, obstructed airway instructions. So they are greatly beneficial in saving and or preserving life until the responders can get on scene.
We're very fortunate to have all of this in place right here in Rockingham County with our 911 system. I don't talk to anyone else in the state about this. How do we compare with other counties?
I think we are way ahead of the game. There are a lot of other counties that do all three dispatch protocols, that being emergency fire, emergency police, and emergency medical. We do all three here, and we just implemented the emergency fire dispatch protocol. So a lot of the counties do emergency medical, but there are not a lot of counties that do all three of the dispatch protocols. So we're very fortunate in that we have a dispatch protocol for the fire, for police, and for medical. And again, it's a systematic questionnaire that we can go through that does a much more uniformed way of notifying the responders of exactly what they're headed to out into the field.
I know you've been doing this a pretty good while. How many years have you been involved in this, Rodney?
I've been in the 911 industry since 2008. And I've been in overall emergency services since 1988, so 31 years altogether.
1988. And the changes you have seen in this time is amazing, I'm sure.
They are. The technology is wonderful now. Being able to locate callers and then being able to provide these callers with life safety instructions, even if it's a law enforcement call and this person needs to seek safety due to an assailant or something of that nature. These protocols give people or give the telecommunicator instructions to give to the caller about how can they keep themselves safe during this time until the law enforcement gets on scene.
Mm-hmm.
In 88, always 90, well into the 90s, a lot of these things were never heard of. So technology is moving very, very fast. Training for telecommunicators is very, very fast and very extensive, as it is for the responders. So the technology, the training, the response, and then the overall result to the patient or the victim of a crime is the success of that is much greater now than it ever has been.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Oh, that speaks volumes. Well, thank you, you and your team, for being there for us whenever we need them, 24/7, 365. The toy drive is underway with the Rockingham County Fire Marshal's Office. How's that going?
It's going very well. We have several donation sites. The toy drive is going on through November the 15th. We're asking people to drop off a new, unopened, unwrapped toy. These toys go to the North Carolina Burn Children's Unit, and any toys that cannot be accepted by the Burn Children's Unit for whatever reason will then be donated to the Salvation Army. So these donations are benefiting two groups. It's going very well. We're very proud of our Fire Marshal's Office for initiating this and getting this underway.
Yeah. Well, so that's continuing through November 15th. Drop off items at fire stations and the governmental center there, and that's a good thing for us to help with to benefit NC Burn Children's Units, and what's not taken there will stay right here in our county with the Salvation Army. So I commend everyone again involved in that. That's a great thing to do. Well, is there anything else we need to mention here before we finish?
All of the responders throughout the county, which would be the rescue services, the fire departments, the volunteers, we just want to thank them for their support last week during last Thursday's storms. The support that we had and the response that was given throughout the county was outstanding. The cooperation among departments, the cooperation with the citizens, and the way that we as emergency services, which is inclusive of all of the volunteers, the rescues, the paid people, the EMS, the 911 staff, the Fire Marshal's Office, it's a collective group, and we were able to mitigate a lot of emergency situations last week. Health and Human Services, we were working hard on the backside to see if we needed shelters, and shelters with COVID-19 is not where you want to be, but we were already looking at what we were going to do with these people that had damaged homes, and the Red Cross. We were already in conversation with the Red Cross, local motels, that we could get a bank of rooms ready for people that we needed to house. So there's a lot of effort that goes on with many, many different people in these situations, people that the normal citizen wouldn't think of, because it goes in depth in so many different layers when you get down into adult protective services and sheltering in schools, and where are you going to shelter, and what motels can you use. So it was a great collective effort last week. A lot of things were going on. The outcome was there were 14,000 people, so to speak, without power, but we had no reported significant injuries whatsoever. So that's the most remarkable thing of it, and that shows, and it's certainly a testament to the response that we had from the various agencies.
It certainly is. Good when it all comes together and works. Rodney, always great to talk to you. Thanks for your perspective, for your update, and I appreciate it, and we'll talk again soon. Have a good week.
Sure, you too. Thank you.
Thanks. Rodney Cates with us. He is Director of Rockingham County Emergency Services 911. Get more information on the county website at myrockingham.county.nc.com.